Mr. Heller for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I am disappointed. Disappointed in the broken process that got us here to this markup. Disappointed that this committee has been pushed away from its bipartisan legacy. Mr. Chairman, we ask time and time again to open up the process and allow this transparency to members and the public. I'm not disappointed. I'm most disappointed that this bill doesn't come close to doing enough to help rural communities and promote rural economic development. This is unacceptable and a huge loss for rural America. I came to Congress committed to bipartisanship and finding common ground, and I have the record to prove that. That's why I asked to join the Agriculture Committee. With this legacy of working together on behalf of America's farmers, ranchers, and rural communities. While there are always going to be some places where we find disagreement, the ability to reach consensus on the majority of things we agree on has long been the hallmark of this committee. Our shared values of a strong and robust rural America are not in dispute. But this bill doesn't get us there, far from it. Unfortunately, the release of this misguided legislative text demonstrates a willingness to put the needs of rural America, our producers and families, behind the political demands of a few in this body. Rural communities were hit hard in recession, and our local are still struggling to gain the momentum of their urban counterparts. Rural America is hurting. We all know this. This farm bill should have served as a way to jumpstart rural economic development and create more jobs. But instead, this bill cuts $500 million from rural development programs. These cuts mean no mandatory funding for rural development programs. This committee will give away our authority to fund programs that allow our rural communities to build essential infrastructure like schools and clean water systems, and instead leave it up to the appropriators. The broadband proposals in this bill will hurt the smallest and most rural communities in our nation. By not providing the standalone bill, communities with limited revenues or limited access to credit will have a much harder time getting funding for broadband that will connect them to the global economy and generate jobs. Cutting $795 million from conservation programs over the next 10 years is short-sighted and will limit the ability of farmers and ranchers to meet their needs and address resource concerns. I'm also disappointed that the forestry title includes some dramatic proposals. We just passed the omnibus that included prudent and bipartisan proposals to improve fire funding and get restoration work done in the forest. Why are we going backwards? Mr. Chairman, the proposed changes to nutrition programs just do not make sense. They are not based on facts, and they are unpopular. Most troubling, they would undermine the progress we have made to reduce food security and hunger for veterans, military families, tribes, and and they would constitute a dangerous precedent for other critical programs that families in our communities depend on. These proposals will hurt working families, cost too much money, and create new bureaucracies in every state. How is this responsible or feasible? I want to take a moment to highlight that this bill, as it is currently written, will hurt children across America. In 2016, the Arizona legislature considered a categorical eligibility proposal similar to the one in this bill. Analysis by the Department of Economic Security and Arizona food banks found that the proposal would affect 40,000 children across Arizona. It is a sad day in America when Congress is considering proposals that hurt children. This farm bill is a missed opportunity to serve the needs of our rural constituents. Some simple language in the rural development title would have made it possible for tribal communities to provide cancer treatment, something that currently does not happen anywhere in the country, yet disproportionately impacts these citizens.